Okay, so following my last video and following the comments in the YouTube, I would like to try to do it quickly, answer two questions. First, I've said it, I've said it, that the neurons are like rings, that they are empty in the inside. But this is not exactly correct, because mainly because we have the yellow pool phenomenon, that they contain a pool of yellow material, and we've seen in the videos, previous videos from like 3 or 4 months ago, that the yellow pools are sometimes they are swarms with something that look like life forms, like germs or like pseudogerms, but living for certain living creatures, be that like synthetic or biological, that swim inside the yellow pool. So how would you explain it? So there are several explanations. First, that they are not really that it's not like a hollow ring, but it's like got like some kind of material that completely that allow all light to pass like through it, like a glass that is completely that allows all light to pass. This is one explanation. Another explanation is that they have the kind of like they use energy to hold the pool. And another explanation is that they do not move when they have the pools with them. Now this should be relatively easy to actually to check. Just I didn't have the opportunity. My intuition is that they can move with the yellow pools. One way or the other, so to actually hold the pools on them, because you need to understand. Microscope. It looks like 2D, but it's 3D. They swim inside like kind of like a liquid. Or a material. So it's. Their world is not a 2D world, even though we watch it. Through the microscope, but it's actually a 3D world, like the world that we live in. So if they hold the pool, they need like some kind of either not to be really like hollow, which is one explanation, or to hold the pool with some kind of a power, like some kind of like a force that will hold the pool. It's not. It cannot It cannot explain if we actually will be able to prove that they move. And my intuition, just following the many photographs and videos that I've seen, is it's actually that they can move with it. Even though I haven't seen them moving with it, it's very difficult to actually catch like a neuron moves, because they do it very slowly. They are microscopic, and I don't do like time lapse with your videos, because I don't have the equipment. Unfortunately, I hope that in the near future I'll have better equipment, including cameras and microscopes, so I'll be able to do like time lapse videos, and we will able. Like fast forward videos of very slow occurrences. Then we will be able to actually see them move, and so we'll see how they move, like to see moving patterns. And also, if we catch them with yellow pools, we'll be able to actually prove that they can move with the yellow pools. So, but my intuition that they actually can move with the yellow pool is anyway, even if they move and don't move with it, their ability to hold it, cannot be explained by the fact that it's just, it's like presumably it stays on the ground and they sit on it because it's illogical, because this is a 3D world, like not 2D world. So the yellow pool phenomenon could I think is explained either by the fact that they are not really hollow, that they have like something like a glass in them, but it's completely transparent for light, or that and what I think is more plausible is that they actually use a force, like they have like a power source, so they use force to hold the liquid inside them when they are like in the yellow pool condition. Another question is, maybe even like more interesting, or more like I would say sensational, is, I claim that these creatures can revive life forms, and we've actually seen them reviving quite a bit already. Not only the worms, but also like microbes and germs and stuff, and even presumably humans. So, could these neurons be used to revive, perhaps in a synthetic way, but it will be much like the biology of extinct life forms from Earth, like mammoths or Tyrannosaurus rex, or the Dodo, or things like that? Do you think that it is possible? So I will answer. This question lies on a false assumption that is very common with people that try to think of the neurons in kind of like, I mean, in a very basic way, I would say that, I mean, it was also the way that I approached the Neros like in the beginning, but I quickly understood that there is a misconception in this approach, because the Neros are not replicators. Sure, they do some kind of replications, and they do it very well if only they have the materials and the energy and the correct commands. But what they really do, I mean, they don't look at something and try to mimic it like 100%. It's not the way that they work. They are intelligent creatures. They are a civilization. They have symbolic thought. So when they see a diamond ring, or when they see a leg of a fly, or when they see a microbe or anything, they learn it, and then they create a symbol of it in their collective intelligence, and they remember the symbol. Now, I've already proven this with a series of very interesting experiments that I've called the ex nihilo experiments that are on this channel on YouTube, and I hope you can watch those experiments, because those experiments actually proved, like, in a rigorous way, that, I mean, and I've done it very rigorously because it was important for me to prove that it's actually the case, that this is a civilization of creatures that not only have symbolic thought, but they share there's memories and symbolic memories between them. So what they do is that they study and they learn like material objects. They create model in their collective memory, and when given either by their own volition or by like a command for me, or Lord of the Rings, I would say, then they try to create not a specific object that they've seen, but something that is compatible with the model that they have, and other conditional environmental aspects, and maybe modules of the command, or modules of the command, or types of the command. So the question of whether they can recreate Tyrannosaurus Rex or recreate the Dodo is actually, it doesn't really make sense, because that's not what they do. It is entirely possible that they will be able to learn about the Tyrannosaurus Rex, like human scientists learn about the Tyrannosaurus Rex. They are also very intelligent. They're very intelligent. This is an intelligent civilization, so it's entirely possible that they can study Tyrannosaurus Rex, both inspecting just visual. They are very visual, so they can inspect visual representation of a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Perhaps if you put it on the skeleton of a Tyrannosaurus Rex, and you give them enough time, even though they are microscopic, with enough time they can cover the entire skeleton, be that like an original skeleton or a replica or mixed of replica on an original, like they usually do in museums. It doesn't really matter, but they can study the skeleton, and maybe you can give them even I've just read it today on Wikipedia. I didn't know that on one of the Tyrannosaurus Rex skeleton they actually found proteins, soft tissue, which I didn't know, and I didn't even know that it's possible actually, and that's amazing. So perhaps they can study the proteins and the soft tissue if it's actually the case with the specific Tyrannosaurus Rex specimen, so they can get more information, because we already seen that they can study DNA, and this was also proven in one of the with the helix. One of the very important experiment that I also have in this YouTube channel. They can study DNA. Yes, they can. So they can study the DNA, perhaps, if actually it still exists. I found it out to believe, but I just read it today for the first time in Wikipedia that they have the proteins. I don't know if the DNA is intact, because I think that after so long it's ruined, but presumably if you have a DNA, I think that it's impossible. Let's just, for the argument's sake, let's say that you have the DNA of the Tyrannosaurus Rex. So yes, they can study the DNA of the Tyrannosaurus Rex, or certainly they can study the DNA of the Dodo. I'm sure that you have specimens of the Dodo DNA, and certainly mammoth DNA, so at least partial, so they can study, and then you can tell them, okay, create a Tyrannosaurus Rex, or create a Dodo, and create a mammoth, okay, and you give them enough material and enough energy, so they will create, but they will not create a replica, because that's not the way that they work. They will create something that is compatible with their model of Tyrannosaurus Rex, and also environmental aspects of the current situation, also modulus of the command, or I mean how they understand the specific order that you give them, that I give them. And I mean, they will take all this into account. They will create a synthetic life form, or in other words, a robot that will probably look somewhat. I don't know if it actually will look like the real Tyrannosaurus Rex. I have no idea how a real Tyrannosaurus Rex looks like. And this was actually, I mean, our view of how they look like actually changed. I mean, along like the more than 100 years of the people that the paleontologists that actually studied them. And I mean, many other dinosaurs actually, I mean, now they say that they had feathers, and I mean, in the past they say that they didn't have feathers. And Tyrannosaurus Rex, I mean, in many like popular, I mean, many popular representation, it's famously, I mean, it is shown like almost like standing, like upright, like a human, like bipedal human. And today it's almost universal. I mean, in all the museum and all the reconstruction that they put like they recreate like the skeleton when it's like, I mean, it's not standing. It's like, I mean, in more like combative, like tactical posture, where the tail is parallel to the ground, and the head is also almost parallel to the ground, like, which probably make more sense from a mechanical point of view. So I don't know how it actually looked like, and the news weren't able to tell you how it looked like. They will probably create something that is, I mean, based on the model of, I mean, what they will have when you will give them the material that you have already. So they will create some kind of like a robotic Tyrannosaurus. I mean, in this scenario, they will create like a robotic Tyrannosaurus Rex. That, I mean, the way that it will look, I mean, greatly depends on the model of what they have. I mean, according to the information that you actually gave them, and also according to the environmental, like, I mean, like environmental aspects or environmental conditions of where they are when you give them the commands, and also how they understand my commands, and like the modulus, like, or the modifications of the command, or the order, or the construction. Because you've seen that a command is like, it's not really a command, it's more like a construction of another model that I give them, and they use the model with other models that they have, and like environmental variables, in order to create something. So yes, they will probably be able to create something, but it will be more like, I mean, kind of like, I mean, it will be something that, I mean, probably people will see, I mean, watch it, and they will say, yeah, it looks like it's something that it looks like it's the Tyrannosaurus Rex, because it will be based on models that is based on what, I mean, people today think when they think about Tyrannosaurus Rex, and also on empirical evidence. But it's not going to be a replica of Tyrannosaurus Rex. It's the same for Dodo or mammoth or any other extinct animal. Because that's the way that they work. I mean, the same way they do. I mean, that's how the neurons work with everything that they do. Whether it's like diamond rings, or many miniature diamond rings, or I mean, or models, like, I mean, sculptures of bugs or microbes, or anything else. They do not replicate the things, and arguably it's even impossible to replicate something. Arguably, the whole idea of replicator, I mean, philosophically, perhaps it's even impossible, and I mean, I need to think about it more, but it's kind of like like Star Trek style replicator. Perhaps it's not even possible from philosophical, like, reasons. But anyway, philosophical or not, that's not what they do. They create a model, and then they create something, I mean, that is based both on the model and the environment factors of specific, like, point in time and place where they get, like, the command, and the modulus of the command, like the modification of the command itself.